Hi, Mike the MC. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video we'll cover back with We Live Our Faith of that playlist. This will be number 7, chapter 7 of that book, The Promise of Salvation. And so we'll cover that as far as the Immaculate Conception, original sin, and how to help the classes and teachers from this video, how I can help in any way from this presentation. And so let's get into this topic. Alright, so here are the key terms from The Promise of Salvation. Chapter 7, The Promise of Salvation terms. Free will, the freedom and ability to choose what to do. Sin, thought, word, deed, or omission against God's law that harms us and our relationship with God and others. Original sin, the first sin committed by first human beings. Immaculate Conception, Mary as mother, being born without original sin at the moment she was conceived. Angel, a creature created by God as a pure spirit without a physical body. And the Annunciation, announcement to Mary that she would be the mother of the Son of God. Looking at the terms from The Promise of Salvation, right, covering the idea of original sin, sin and free will, those are right there a good handful of topics to talk about. So just starting with original sin, just quick refresher, it's the original sin by Adam and Eve when they ate from the apple of wisdom, from the tree of knowledge, the apple. And even in fact, if you notice, they call it the Adam's apple at the neck, because it's a lie to God that, oh, I didn't bite the apple. It was her fault that she made me bite the apple. It was her. But then if you catch on to little things like that, you start to realize, oh, I can lie with my own actions. I can lie with my words, my thoughts, words, and deeds, which is why sharing from this chapter the idea of sin. What can it be? The omission from God. How do we recognize, oh, am I stranding away from God, or am I being good? Am I standing close to Him? And so some questions to reflect on if you're wondering where you stand with God is, okay, are you doing something? Is it purely for yourself out of selfishness? The idea that, okay, I'm going to walk this lady across the street, but then after I walk her across the street, then she whacks me with her cane because she didn't want to be helped across the street. I would argue that's not a sin, because in your heart you wanted to do the right thing. Whereas if you want to walk the lady across for something else, such as, oh, if I walk her across the street, maybe I could then bribe her to do something for me. See, when you have an incentive, something on top of that, okay, now we're going to turn a good action into a terrible one. And from the idea of philosophy, the hierarchy of good, the idea of a pyramid. The idea is if you choose a good that is higher on the pyramid, that means you're doing something that is good for God. But if you chose a less good, that's how you fall into sin. So technically, philosophically, there's no such thing as a bad action. You just chose a not as good action today than the better one. And so if I were to run the red light, okay, versus, oh, stopping at the red light. If I chose to run it versus stopping at it, I would choose the less good than the greater good, and that is a sin. Philosophically, if you're not even in a faith, that is philosophically a sin against just people in general. And so, all right, just going away from the theory, okay, so how do we live a good life? And so, as far as my channel with the self-care, okay, doing little things can help build your stamina to do good. Take care of your bed, waking up on time, small decisions that lead to bigger decisions, and you'll become a very responsible person later in life if you choose to do so, continuing that direction. And as I've said in other videos, losing is contagious. So if you choose not to wake up on time, choose not to do your chores, choose not to help your friends, family, choose not to take care of that project, your homework, okay, you're starting to lose, and you're falling into a very bad pattern of stagnation. You're just becoming lazy and complacent with what you got to do. And it feels good to get work done. It does. But then on the other hand, it's like, okay, if I do too much, am I neglecting other duties with other people? And that is where it can become sinful as well. As an adult, as you're teaching catechism to children, okay, make time for the good people in your life, but also make time for yourself to give thanks to God. And if you're non-religious, just give thanks for the things you've done. Be appreciative of what you've been able to accomplish this day. And that is why I love watching other videos on YouTube of other YouTubers, just because, alright, from different areas, they're trying to promote good things to other people. And I'm always in support of those channels, just because, all right, with self-care, why not? This is a community of people trying to help others, and so why not support other YouTubers? That's how I look at that as far as my support. Now, going back to chapter 7 with the idea of Mary, the idea of the Annunciation, all right, and the Immaculate Conception. She was born without original sin. The idea that, all right, she's not blemished in any way. And connecting with the Jewish faith even, the idea of a king and a queen, it was always with the mother as the queen and her son as the king. That's how it was. And so Mary and Jesus, that was the new kingdom, or for the Christian faith moving forward. And so then the idea of the Annunciation, all right, here we go. The idea that she'll be the mother of the Son of God. That is amazing. And if you think about it, if she's going to be the mother of the new humanity, the new, the redemption of people, of man and women, all right, that's pretty cool. So to give birth to the Son of God, it's kind of not restarting the button, not restarting creation, not hitting that button, but you're like saving salvation through that plan that God has set. And so it's kind of cool. So people that never knew Jesus, all right, they get to be saved in the process. I always wonder about the people in North America that never got to know him, Asia, other countries, Australia. And so all those people will be saved even though they never knew Jesus, because by this plan coming into the world, now there's a chance to connect with all the people that have been a part of humanity and free them of original sin. And so then being the last term, it was just another term from the chapter, the idea of the angel. All right, so the angel Gabriel giving the message to Mary, right? A humanless form, or materialist form that is unmaterial. And so the idea that, okay, an angel, it's pure spirit giving the message to Mary. Do we pray to our guardian angel? Do we give her respect? I don't know. I don't think they have they're just spirits, so I don't know if they would have a gender of any kind. I don't know. I'd have to talk with your priest on that. But the idea of, all right, a good and a bad conscience, sticking with that idea. Which one do you trust? Do you trust your good or your bad angel? If we trust the good one, okay, may not seem like a popular choice, but it's the right one, and it'll get you out of trouble. Versus sometimes if it's the popular one, the popular choice may not always be the right choice. And so if that's the bad angel, may want to say no to that. And so there you got to learn to say no to your thoughts. Whatever your angel is trying to tell you to do, like, okay, I should help my mom with her chore today. I can spare some time. That's a good thought from the good angel. Whereas, oh, I'll just leave her to be because I'm so mad at her right now. Okay, influence from the bad angel. And so learning how to distinguish between the two, teaching catechism, that's I guess an exercise that you can try to practice now moving forward from this class. And so I hope this helped you all, teachers, catechism, students. I hope this helped. And so I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you. Have a good one.